What if he gets into a long-term care situation? What if he's in long-term care and he meets a really attractive nurse and he starts updating these beneficiaries? What if that happens? You don't know.
Well, as we go through this whole retirement planning process, I find it interesting when you go into the headlines. If you go into any financial news, if you're near retirement age, you're probably Googling different retirement stories. If you land on one of these places where people write in, and it's very interesting, a lot of them are asking the very same questions. Here's a couple of the headlines that I pulled. I'm 65 with $1.2 million. Can I retire? I'm 62 with $850,000 saved. Can I retire on $120,000 a year? Or I'm 55 and I've had it with work. Can I retire on $600,000? It's always the same. Here's how much I've saved.
This is what I got.
I retire?
What's it mean?
They've all got the same question. Is it the same wing in your office as they kind of look at you and go, Jay, here's what I got. Can I retire? Is that it?
Yeah, so let me answer those three guys here. I'm going to try and do it from memory. Just haven't done this enough in life. So the first guy was 65 with 1.2. He probably can. The next one was 62 with 850. And they want 120 a year?
Yeah.
Nah. 55 with 600? Probably not. Every other show, at least, right? We have this sort of question where Susie Orman says you need 3 million. O'Leary says you need 5, which means nobody in the country's retiring pretty much, if that's what you need. But how can you know who that number is supposed to reach, right? So we have, I've shared this with you, I've shared this with our listeners a lot. We have people that come into the office and they've got 500,000 to their name and it's going to work. We have other people that they come in and they've got each spouse has $3 million. And I was like, it's just not going to work. Well, why? Well, because the guy who has 500,000 is 70 and they need a few $1,000s a month to live off. They've got very humble expectations and they're going to be fine. And the other couple, well, yeah, they've got $6 million, but they also want $30,000, $40,000 a month and they want to go to Antarctica and they want to, do you remember I told you a few months ago about a couple, this is a different couple that I'm thinking of than the explanation I was just giving. They were going to go on so the Four Seasons has a private jet apparently, right? And there's do you remember that one? And it was something
the world
like,
thing, yeah.
Yeah. And so like you go on this Four Seasons private jet and they go to 10 or 12 places and you stay at the resorts there and it's like $250,000 a person. So I don't know who can do it, but they've got the plane and they're selling it. So I guess there's somebody that can afford it, right? Yeah. Okay. If that is your idea of retirement, $6 million doesn't go far, right? So it's so dependent. And I know you get frustrated. Sometimes I do when I get these answers too. And it's just like, well, what do I need? It depends. Tell me your story. Tell me what you want to do. What does retirement look like for you? Then we can find that number.
Well, I got another one here for you. And this is a person who wrote in and says, we're 60 years old. We have $550,000 in savings, and we're going to inherit $3 million. Can we retire now, even if we can't afford it? Their father apparently is 92 years old and says he's going to leave them everything. What are your thoughts on that? Of people, they're counting on an inheritance to fund their retirement. I get that, but these guys are going to retire early counting on that.
What's funny about that whole inheritance thing that we discussed is, some people know we take the radio show, right? We have a podcast with it. And then, we take certain segments and we put it on YouTube as well. I had more messages and comments on that inheritance one that we did a few months ago than I have ever had on any topic so I guess it hit a nerve with some people.
Wow.
And look, if your retirement plan is an inheritance, you don't have a retirement plan. That's what it is, right? So, very likely this works out for these people. I don't know, like with retirement, that's not something I'd want to flip a coin on and roll a dice about, right? Is this all going to work out? I don't know if I saw this on YouTube or I read it or something, but it was a situation where it was a guy, he was in his 50s. And he just sold his business. And I can't remember if he was an electrician or a plumber or HVAC or whatever it is. So it was like a trade of some type where you kind of wouldn't think that there's a ton of value in those businesses, but apparently there is, right? And he sold his business for $20 million. Now, these people have $20 million and they said, we haven't told anybody. right? We haven't told our family, probably a good idea, right? Haven't told our family, we're kind of worried about, hey, is this going to change a relationship? Are people going to ask us for money? Trying to avoid that. And they've got kids, and the kids are like late teens or 20s or something like that. And they said, we haven't even told our kids yet, which is probably a good idea as well. And they said, yeah, we haven't told our kids yet because we don't want our kids to become waiters. And the guy was like, well, like you want them to, go to college, get a career or whatever. He's like, yeah, but I don't want them to become waiters, waiting for us to die. Hey, get the money, right? Like that's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want them like waiting around to get the money. If an inheritance is your retirement plan, then you don't have a retirement plan because this guy's 92. Like I get it, right? Probably in the next few years, it's going to come to them. What if he gets into a long-term care situation? You get into a long-term care situation, and is it going to go through $3 million? Probably not. Could it put a really big dent in that? Absolutely. What if he's in long-term care and he meets a really attractive nurse and he starts updating these beneficiaries? What if that happens? You don't know, right? You don't know what's going to happen.
That one didn't occur to me.
But that's just one of the variables. Right? You don't know what's going to happen with this, right? And so, and especially in this situation, right? They haven't retired yet. Why not stick with that job just a little bit longer till that possibility of an inheritance becomes the reality of an inheritance? That would be my caution to them, right? If the dad is 80, well, geez, he could live another 15 years. He's 92. You're starting to run out the odds at that point. But until it's actually received by you, it's not an inheritance that you're going to get. That's the way we look at it.
It's not real. And if dad has a nurse named Anna Nicole, beware. Be
Oh.
very, very afraid.
You're not getting that inheritance.